Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Nakota, returning with another delicious soul food lesson. The topic on tonight is the curses are still at work, even if you're rich. Okay? The curses are still at work, even if you're rich. So last night, we watched a debate between Guerrilla Hebrew, Chief Priest Alazar, and PhD Dr. Michael Brown, right? Discussing the 12 tribes, the legit children of Israel, whether it be the 12 tribes chart or the Ashkenazi Jews, right? It was interesting when we watched that debate, Alazar asked him directly, he said, what curses presently affect the Ashkenazi Jews? And Michael Brown went into the Holocaust, as they usually do, talking about the same rhetoric and, anti-Semitism and hate speech and all that same garbage. So definitely he was going into all of that junk that they usually go into. But Alazar stayed on it. He said, no. I'm asking you, what present curses do the Ashkenazi Jews go through? And he couldn't answer them.
Dr. Brown, no, I asked you very, very explicitly, presently, like you mentioned starving in the ghetto, like blacks and Hispanics are starving in the ghetto as we speak. So I asked you very specifically, presently, can you demonstrate what curses of Deuteronomy 28, the Ashkenazi Jews presently are under, because you said the Jews are presently under curses. Thank you.
Yeah, so let me come back to this. Barack Obama was president of the United States. There are Black Americans who are leading citizens in our country.
Dr. Brown,
can I please speak?
He's Kenyan. He's Kenyan. He's not a descendant of slaves, just for the record.
Okay.
He couldn't answer them, right? The reality is that they are not the children of Israel, right? And so they do not deal with these curses. But the topic tonight that we're dealing with is that even if you're rich here in the land of captivity, here in Babylon, here in America, it don't matter if you make over 6 figures, if you're a millionaire, a multimillionaire, a billionaire, it doesn't matter. If you are of the children of Israel and you have amassed wealth that does not exonerate you, that does not cause you to escape or avoid or evade the curses of God, they still will affect you if you're not keeping his commandments. You're not going to be able to escape the curses of God. Real quick, Gail, if you don't mind, can you grab me Deuteronomy chapter 28? Let's see, Deuteronomy chapter 28. You see which one I want. You got to demonstrate in the scripture, right? There was over, I think, 4,000 people that at least watched the debate and were commenting, and asking their questions. And you have Christians and you have Israelites, right? I'm sure you have other Jews and other Caucasian professors and theologians that probably watch the debate as well. Because they want to know, how is he going to fare with this Israelite? I want to see. I've been hearing about it. Michael Brown told me about it. And so I'm taking time out of my evening to sit down and listen to this debate because I need to know, how do we deal with this problem? Vocab Malone and a lot of apologetics are bringing this out and saying this is becoming problematic in the United States because this Israelite movement is growing.
Crowds are starting to turn in their favor. And what has that resulted in? The Hebrew Israelites have no problem encouraging the crowds to violence. And I've seen it firsthand. Now, have there been riots and all that? No, I'm not saying anything like that. But there's videos online, and I almost experienced it myself, where they encourage some bystanders to basically deal with interlocutors. Now, granted, a lot of these interlocutors were drunk folks who started saying racist stuff or people who were really out of line. But it makes no excuse for, what happened to them next, and these Hebrew Israelites will encourage it, and they'll say, praise Yahushua for sending us guardian angels. It's hard to believe. And here's the weirdest thing. When I first started doing this, the crowds, the people passing by in the city, they were relatively hostile to these groups. It was clear the average pedestrian, whatever their race was, viewed them kind of as a nuisance. However, through a process of attrition and basically showing up every Saturday, I went back out there a month ago. I could not believe how the crowd had turned against me. The first interactions a couple years ago I had, it was clear the crowd was sort of with me, even though they weren't really Christians, just because they were tired of Hebrew Israelites yelling at them. This time, there were people there just to listen to these Hebrew Israelites. I got threatened several times. It was a chaos I could not believe, and it was because the crowd's attitude has changed, and there's an anger and a rage that wasn't at the same level it is now, that results in people looking at these guys like, you know what? Maybe these guys do have the answer. And if someone's there bothering them, they must be stopping something good.
That means more than half of people who get exposed to Hebrew Israelism end up agreeing with it. This is alarming, 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 alarming. If you look at this and understand it's done by Lifeway Research, a conservative, evangelical, Protestant organization who's interested in data collection in regards to this question, they're not trying to puff up the numbers.
From what I heard, there's 2 million believing Israelites in the United States. 2 million. And that's real small, but that is a growing faction, right? And it's saying it's not the way it used to be 5 to 10 years ago when black people would hear this sort of Israelite rhetoric, right? Mm-hmm. I got air quotations. They would hear this sort of stuff and dismiss it. Now they're starting to hear it and connect it, and hearing the men of the Most High God connecting it with prophecy and seeing the realities of their plight and saying, hey, there's something to what these brothers are talking about. These ain't just Power Rangers with Power Rangers with Bibles. Right? These brothers got something, worth talking about. There's some substance to their teaching, to their preaching, right? So I want you to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. And let's see which one do I want. Real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45. Because I want to bring a point out before we get into the scripture for tonight. I want to bring this point out.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45.
Now, these are the curses that will fall upon the legitimate children of Israel, right? The Ashkenazim cannot bear witness to any of these curses, right? So the topic on tonight is the curses are still at work even if you're rich. So, he was able to experience firsthand that when you step out of line, the curses of God will affect you and your bank account. Mm-hmm. Okay? I don't care who you are. If you're Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, LeBron James, right? Bob Johnson, whoever you might be, African-American entrepreneur or media mogul, whoever you are, the curse of God will still come find you and diminish your bank account or in some other way affect your life or affect your family. You're not exempt. Go ahead and read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Hold it right there. So we know right off the rip that the Ashkenazim, the Sephardic Jews, right? The European Jewry, they do not fit that curse. Because Moses spoke to the children of Israel and said that these curses, all of these curses that were mentioned in that chapter, shall pursue thee. What does pursue mean? Pursue means to run after, to chase, right? So if you were to go rob somebody, if the person realized you snatched their chain and chased behind you, they would be pursuing you. When a black man, commit a crime and he gets in a getaway car and the cops come chase him, the cops are pursuing him. Are the cops going to give up and stop? They're not going to stop until they apprehend the criminal. That's the spirit of these curses upon the children of Israel. It said, pursue you and do what?
Overtake.
Overtake thee. Until what?
Until thou be destroyed.
Until thou be destroyed. So if you break God's commandments, the spirit of these curses are going to be like the 5-0, like the fuzz, right? On your tail until they overtake thee and destroy thee. The cop ain't going to stop, right? You could look at any footage on Cops, remember the old Cop show, or America's Most Wanted, or any other, because I think, is it Court TV or one of them channels? They show a lot of the different high-speed chases and whatnot. When the criminal gets out there on the expressway, they got the sirens on. The police officers are calling them back up. They got the helicopters flying over, right? And this dude is driving, and eventually that tank gonna run out. right? But what did they start doing? They set up barricades to block him off. Think about this if you be spiritual. This is the spirit of the curses on the children of Israel if you disobey God's commandment. They gonna hunt you down and find you. Have y'all ever seen videos where the brother, he's barricaded and the exit ramp is blocked off? He pull over and jump out and start running off into the trees and into a forest? That's what the curses of God are gonna do. Can the Ashkenazim bear witness to any of that? Nah. But Moses said unto the children of Israel that these curses are going to pursue you like the police. Overtake thee, meaning they gonna catch your behind. See, the stereotype is the black man fast, he can run. But you can't outrun these curses, bruh. These curses gonna come grab you. They gonna hawk you down, right? Like Usain Bolt. Remember the highlight with DK Metcalf? When he hawked old boy down a couple years back? When he was trying to return it back for the pick six, he hawked him down and caught him. That's what the spirit of the curse is going to do to the children of Israel. The Ashkenazim cannot bear witness to that at all. Right? So we need to establish that right off the rip. Right? That these curses, all of these curses, will pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. There is no shield. There is no insurance. There is nothing you can do to block yourself. They're going to come find you, act like manhunt. They're going to hunt you down like a bounty hunter and take you in and arrest you and detain thee that you might be cursed of God. This is the spirit of the curses, and all the 12 tribes are subject if you break his commandments. So money can't save you, bruh. Money is no defense when these curses are upon you. But our people have gotten warped in their mind, and they think that amassing wealth is going to shield you and make some sort of immunity from the effects of this curse. Read it again.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy King, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
So you played the fool, you disobeyed God, now you getting these curses. You can't run and you can't hide. These curses gonna come find your behind. They got a warrant out for your arrest. If you be spiritual. If you be spiritual, these curses have a warrant out for your arrest. From there, grab me real quick. This ain't in my notes. Just grab me the book of Proverbs. Chapter 13 and verse 5, I want to say. The book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 5. Because we talking about the Ashkenazim, right? If they were the legit children of Israel, then that curse that we just, because it is also a promise. The promise of that curse that we read in Deuteronomy would affect them, right? But they dwell in power and in riches. There's no, now, what they'll do is, just like Dr. Michael Brown brought out, we're dealing with anti-hate, we were having to put anti-hate legislation into law. We're dealing with all of this different vandalism and all of this hate against the Jewish people and the Jewish community. That's not by way of the curses. See, they want to make you feel as though, Salakia, that is their version, right, of the curses. No. The reason why you experience that is because of the villainy and the evil that you have perpetuated throughout the earth. You are the ruling class. You own everything, right? You have oppressed and suppressed the knowledge of the children of Israel, and you have done evil to all the earth, even your own kindred. The other tribes of Edom have spoken evil of you. That's why you have the neo-Nazis. That's why you have the Proud Boys. That's why you have these other white supremacist groups that hate Jews. Now, let's be real. Y'all all are part of the same family. Edom and Amalek. Y'all are part of the same family.
Didn't Michael Brown say he's not Edom?
Well, that's what he claimed, but we all know. He's Esau. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, the reason why you're feeling this sort of hatred from the nations is not because of the curses bringing us upon you. Because we're hated because we're the Most High God's chosen, and we're hated and made a proverb and a byword. You're made that because of your evil. Go ahead and read what you got.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 5. A righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame.
A wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame. So the reputation of the Jewish community is loathsome to the nations. That's why you deal with what you deal with, man. That's why you feel you have to place anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish legislation into law. That's why you feel you have to do that, because your evil have made you loathsome in the earth. You own the media, right? Yeah. You own all these. It's not fair to talk about these different these falsified tropes that you keep throwing out, that the Jewish control everything and control the media. That's not fair, but it's accurate. Mm-hmm. What did Ye say? What am I supposed to think when the lawyers I deal with are all Jewish? The executives I deal with are all Jewish? The people in power are all Jewish? No, you shouldn't say the Jewish community. You should point out specific individuals. Mm-hmm. But all the individuals are Jewish. Mm-hmm. And you what's the word I'm looking for? Not collaborate. You collude. You collude against the so-called black man or woman entertainer, right? And or athlete. You collude against us. Mm-hmm. You're the ones who have raped us and misappropriated our abilities. You have molested us. This is real. Mm-hmm. But it's not because of the curses upon you. It's because you have made your name to stink in the earth. Grab me Proverbs 10 and 7. So you said that the wicked shall be loathsome. The nations hate your behind. That's why you experience what you experience. It's not because you cursed by God. Well, let me take that back. You are cursed by God, but not cursed according to Deuteronomy.
See, I got the sources that talk about why you guys were getting kicked out of these lands and these nations for your unjust barter and trade. Watch this. Same book, History of the Jews, 249. And 249, right? That being so, the Jews were all prepared to take advantage of the growth in the world economy. 15th century, 16th century, which marks the 16th century. You guys had enough money to partake in the global economy. Now, indeed, in a view of their exclusion from the Spanish Peninsula. So when you were getting kicked out of these lands, you were leaving with vast wealth and treasures and high positions. They just didn't want you there because of your usury and your unjust barter and trade and wickedness as it pertains to business.
Give me Proverbs 10 and 7.
Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 7. The memory of the just is blessed.
So the memory of the just is blessed. When people think back on the righteous, when they pass away, they have beautiful memories. But read on.
But the name of the wicked shall rot.
Okay, so when you think about that word name in the Hebrew, that's Shem. Oddly enough, what do they accuse us of being when we speak against them? When we speak against the small hats?
Anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic, right? But when you go into that word Shem in the Hebrew, it doesn't just mean name, but it can mean title or reputation, right? Fame. So when you go back and read Proverbs 10 and 7, it says, and the name of the, read that again, the wicked, what?
The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot.
So the name of the wicked, or the reputation or the fame of the wicked shall rot. The reputation of the wicked. We already know who the wicked is. Mm-hmm. But y'all the ones that are in power running everything. Mm-hmm. So the people speak against you, not because you're cursed according to Deuteronomy, but because your reputation is a rotting carcass before the nations. We hate you for all the things that you have done, how you have undermined, marginalized, and oppressed the people. That's why you want to try to conflate Deuteronomy 28 and the effects of those curses on the legit children of Israel and your personal experience to say that's the same. No, it's not. You are loathsome to the nations, and your reputation or your name is a rotting before the nations. That's why people speak the way that they speak. But still, no one has done anything evil to you. Your own kinsmen, your own brethren have done more evil to you than any other people have done to you. It's the neo-Nazis putting swastikas on Jewish tombs, Jewish headstones, vandalizing. It's neo-Nazi. It's other whites doing that, not black people. Though they want to say it was Israelites that went into the kosher market and shot up those. No, stop it. You have no evidence to prove that. Those were Muslims. Well, you know, Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO or CEO, president of Anti-Defamation League, saying that, you know, a black man harmed a Jewish man and his son just a while ago. No, that's not true. They found the culprit and he was another white man.
And it was a pellet gun
that
he was using. So they didn't get shot, no blood was lost.
Okay, but these are the lies that are being pushed. So the reason why y'all dealing with this is because your name has become loathsome and a rot. Your reputation is such. The nations ain't dealing with you. Nations don't regard you as that because you're wicked in the earth. That's why. Okay, but let's deal with our people. From there, can you grab me Psalms chapter 49, verses 6, 10, and 13? The book of Psalms chapter 49, verses 6, 10, and 13.
The book of Psalms chapter 49, verse 6. They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches. Verse 10.
Go ahead.
For he seeth that wise men die, like if the fool and the brutish person perish and leave their wealth to others. Verse 13. This their way is their folly, yet their posterity approve their sayings.
Okay. So we see in verse 6, he said, they trust in their wealth and boost themselves in the multitude of their riches. That's our people, right? Once we get the money, we believe we have arrived, right? Nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. That's the way we think. That's the mentality of our people. We have now an immunity monetarily. Nothing can penetrate that immunity that we have because of this wealth. Our brothers, when they get that big record deal from the record label, what do you see them on Instagram doing, bro? You see them having the money beard or doing the money spread on the arm. That's what they do. That's what they do. But a lot of times that money ain't even real, or that money is borrowed. It ain't really all of theirs. Or they do the little trick where I saw somebody, they got a few hundreds, but they got a bundle of ones, and they put the hundreds on the outside, make it look like they got a bundle of hundreds. You know what I'm saying? That could be the very same thing they're doing. You know, get 200 ones, they get about 10 hundreds, and then put the hundreds on the top, and like, man, they balling out here. No, it's nah, right? But they trust in their wealth, right? But when you trust in these things and you live in wickedly, you don't even know who you're leaving your wealth to. Right? Verse 13 also, this their way is their folly. Because when you leave, you can't take none of that with you, bruh. You can't take none of that wealth with you. But what did Deuteronomy 28 and 45 say? It said, but moreover, all of these curses shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Salakia. Till thou be destroyed. How many times have we heard of influential, wealthy black men and women who after a short amount of time and their relevance dried up, so did their money? Grab me Proverbs 23 and 5. Because this is what happened with money. Our people are so stuck on it, but this is the fate of money when you don't do that which is right with it.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 5. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not?
Salakia, meaning this is a question being asked. to the young black man, black woman who got a little bit of money all of a sudden, right? They mixtape done got found on SoundCloud. Now they got a record label, a record deal. I keep saying record label. Now they got a record deal. They got a little bit of money. The question being asked by the preacher is, because this is Solomon speaking, wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? This is an illusion. This is not even real. Because when you go into the legal ramifications of you signing that contract, you might get a little advance, but all of this has to be paid back to the record label and the executives, right? All of the money's being spent on you touring, all the money being spent in the studio, all the money that the record label is spending to make you a star got to be paid back. They're making an investment in you. So that little $50,000 that you got, and you go buy the chopper, and you go buy a big old necklace, right? And you go back to the hood, taking snapshots and showing how you made it. Solomon, who had abundance of wealth, said, wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? Meaning, bro, that ain't even nothing. Read on.
For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven.
So them riches that you so absorbed with and so infatuated with, Solomon said they're going to make themselves wings and fly away. And like I was saying before, how many entertainers of yesteryear have we seen fall off and be broke? And they washed up behind and doing some VH1, MTV, BET reality show to try to get their name back out there. Talking about I got a new album coming out. Bruh, you ain't had a relevant album in 15, 20 years. Don't nobody want to hear you, bruh. You washed up. But what did the scripture say? Read it again from the top.
Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven.
So we put our trust in things that will not profit. But not one time will our people invest the same amount of time in the keeping of God's commandments. Because that's the only thing that's going to stay the curses from affecting you. But our people will not invest any time in that, though. Okay? From there, can you grab me Deuteronomy chapter 29, verses 16 through 21. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 29, verses 16 through 21. You got to deal with this thing.
Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 16 through 21. For ye know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which ye passed by. Verse 17. And ye have seen their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them.
Salakia. So Moses is admonishing the children of Israel and saying, look, when we pass through these abominable nations, you've seen their works. You've seen the things that they have done. Don't do like them. Okay? Don't do like them. Remember the topic. The curses are still at work, even if you're rich. Think about the type of stuff that our men and our women are lining up to do. When I say lining up, there are many of our people, young and old, who will sell their soul, right? And when I say sell your soul, I'm not talking about this esoteric Illuminati going blood contract, even though there's legitimacy to those sort of things. But when I'm saying sell your soul, I'm talking about forfeiting your integrity. Forfeiting your integrity. How many of our young men and women will line up to sell their soul, to forfeit their integrity for the sake of riches that will make themselves wings and fly away? Too many to count. There's too many brothers in the inner city Chicago, and in the boroughs of the Bronx and Brooklyn and in Dallas and in Houston and in Miami and in Boston and all over this country. Men and women who will line up to forfeit their integrity. What are you talking about, Brother Nakota? What are you talking about, forfeit their integrity? will bend over and grab ankles and let them same Ashkenazim pull their pants down and boing to get a record deal. How many of our women will spread eagle
Or get down on their knees.
Yeah. And let a train be ran on them to get their name signed on the dotted line. That's what I'm talking about. Countless of our men and women will subject themselves to these sort of things just for the possibility, not even the guarantee, but the possibility of getting a little bit of cheddar.
And like Bow Wow said, I got paid though.
Bow Wow said that?
Yep.
I thought it was somebody else, but
I thought it was him. I got paid though. It might have been somebody else, but I thought it was Bow Wow. Whoever.
you know, read that from the top.
Which the 17?
Yeah.
And ye have seen their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them.
So you see the stuff that they doing. Don't follow after them. Don't follow after them. The Most High God got something in store for you, but you only have to obey what he asks you to do. Don't follow after what these nations are doing. Read on.
Verse 18, lest there should be among you man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turneth away this day from Yahweh our King.
Salakia. Now, what is it that will cause our people's heart here in America to turn away from God? What is the thing that's most powerful in this nation to make our people turn away from God? Brother Michael, if you don't mind, can you give me an answer? What is it that's in this country that will make our people's mind turn away from God? Money. Money. This is the type of stuff that our people want, right? And Moses is telling the children of Israel, do not seek after these things. Okay, read on.
Verse 18 still, lest there should be among you man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turneth away this day from Yahweh our King, to go and serve the gods of these nations, lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood.
What is he talking about? Within your heart, right? I'm sorry. Lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood, meaning that within your heart you get resentment and bitterness towards God because you ain't got the stuff these other nations got. That's what he's talking about. And that's precisely what has plagued our people. We want what this nation has, the height of America, right? The American dream. We want that so bad that our heart has been plagued with bitterness. With gall and with wormwood. The bitterness, resentment towards God. God, why ain't you blessing me? God, why ain't you making this happen? It's because your heart has been turned away from him. You ain't focused on him. That's why you have resentment towards your maker, because you looking towards your oppressor to give you something that God hasn't given you. That's why. That's the same spirit our ancestors had. They resented Moses and resented the God of heaven because they did not have what Egypt could offer. They did not have any of these things. What did they often say? Moses, did you bring us into the wilderness to die? Would it not been better for us to die in Egypt than to bring us out here and die? They murmured and complained. That's what it's talking about. Gall and wormwood, bitterness and resentment. Read on.
Verse 19, and it come to pass, when he heareth the words of this curse.
Meaning the so-called black man or woman, when they hear these words of Moses, right? Saying, don't follow these things, don't follow. But the man listen and say, yeah, whatever, Moses, I ain't paying you no mind. Read on.
That he bless himself in his heart.
Meaning, I got the bag, bruh. I don't got to pay attention to what Moses said. I don't got to worry about the laws of God. I don't have to follow none of them stipulations. I got the bag, nigga. I got it. This is what I've been working and grinding to get. I finally got it. I don't have to listen no more. I have an immunity, right? I have an immunity. But the topic again is the curses are still at work, even if you're rich. But the man gonna say in his heart, I'm good. I'm blessed. God has blessed me. I have an immunity. Read on.
That he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace.
I shall have peace. I'm about to go buy this car. I'm about to go buy this house. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying, enjoy myself and live it up. Because I got the bag now. I'm at peace. Who gonna take this peace away from me? I'm making investments here. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying cryptocurrency. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying real estate. Who gonna take this peace away from me? Read on.
That he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of mine heart, to add drunkenness to thirst.
So when it's talking about drunkenness to thirst, what the prophet is saying is that your foolish way, right? Because we read in Psalm 49 and 13, he said, but this their way was folly. So when you follow this destructive path, that's drunkenness. Meaning you're in a stupor. Right? It says, but you add drunkenness to your... I'm Salakia. I meant to say it the other way. When you're walking in this way that leads to destruction, that's thirst. Meaning you lack understanding. You're thirsty, but you add drunkenness to it. So you're in a stupor of carnality on top of the thirst. When you get drunk and you get hanged over, what happens? You have the effects of that, which come from dehydration. Those are the effects on the body when you are drunken. You become dehydrated. Thirst. That's what that is. Your body and your organs are thirsty for sufficient nutrients. Water. The word of God is that water. He said, out of thy belly shall flow rivers of living water. So when you reject it, your spirit, your soul is thirsty, it's dehydrated. But on top of that, you add drunkenness, meaning you're taking the things of this captivity, the oppression, and all of the dainties of this life to try to mask the thirstiness, right? Put it like this. If you've been out in the heat, running around, what is the beverage that's most effective to quench your thirst if you've been out in the heat? Water. Perhaps Gatorade, but water. Do you want a glass of Hennessy?
I wouldn't. No.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want that. Nobody in their right mind is going to want that in 110-degree weather. You sweating and your mouth is dry and you're dehydrated. You don't want Hennessy. You don't want liquor. You want water. But that's what our people have done. You're dehydrated, you sweating, you about to pass out, but you still want, that's what's going to make you drunken. If you be spiritual, think about what Moses is saying right here. Read on.
Verse 19. Verse 20. Yahweh will not spare him, but then the anger of Yahweh and his jealousy shall smoke against that man, and all the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him, and Yahweh shall blot out his name from under heaven.
So you thought this money was going to be an immunity for you. But no. The Most High God is going to cause these curses to come find you. Right? And what did it say to do? It says that they shall smite thee and they shall lie upon you, and your name will be blotted out from under heaven. There is no immunity. So like there is no immunity to be had with all this money. Right? But you have added drunkenness to your thirst. Why? Because it says that you will walk in the imagination of thine own heart. You really believed that you could supersede the curses of God.
It's like OJ said.
I was just going to say, that's the spirit right there. I was just going to say that, man. I was just going to say that.
I'm not black.
I'm not black. I'm OJ.
I'm not black. I'm OJ.
That was his mentality, and that's the mentality of our people today. They think they can supersede niggerdom. Right? That I can get beyond the plight of my people. I can get past poverty and get past these things. No. What is eternal is the keeping of God's commandments.
Hallelujah.
But the money, like we read, shall make themselves wings and fly away as an eagle towards heaven. And you can call for an eagle to come back. Come back, come back. And the eagle going to do what it want to do. The eagle going to fly away to another place, never to return again. Okay? Read on.
Verse 21. And Yahweh shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the law.
So that's what's going to happen to you. Okay, from there, grab me Genesis chapter 35 and verse 2. The book of Genesis chapter 35 and verse 2.
Genesis chapter 35 and 2. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean and change your garments.
Okay, so we're going to bring us a few passages to give clarity to what we just read in Deuteronomy 29. So Jacob is telling his household to put away this evil, right? Cleanse yourself. Put away all this evil. All right, from there, jump to chapter 15, verse 13. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. I'll give you that later. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13.
Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Okay, so we're seeing that Jacob told his household to put away their abominations and keep the commandments of God. And now we're seeing here in this passage that the Most High God is speaking to Abraham and telling him that his seed was going to be afflicted by the oppressor. Okay, this is what was going to happen to them. All right, from there, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 6 through 8. Again, the topic is the curses are still at work, even if you're rich. Jonathan, can you grab me Yasher 71?
Ezekiel chapter 20.
Yasher 71.
Ezekiel chapter 20, 6 through 8. In the day that I lifted up mine hand unto them, to bring them forth of the land of Egypt into a land that I espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands, then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abominations of his eyes.
Salakia, hold it right there. Where did we hear that at before? We heard that in Genesis 35, when Jacob, decades before, told his family and his household, put away, cast away these abominations, these idols. And it's all being drawn back to Deuteronomy 29 because Moses told the children of Israel, we have passed through these nations round about. You've seen their abominable works. You see the gods of silver and gold and brass and wood and stone. Don't do that. Don't follow after them. And I don't want there to be a man or woman or child to be turned in their heart and have resentment, gall and wormwood, bitterness and resentment towards God to want to follow this crap. Right? That you walk in the imagination of your own hearts and add drunkenness to your thirst and say, I'll have peace. Ain't nothing bad gonna happen to me. I got the bag. No, that's not gonna protect you. Mm-hmm. Right? So Jacob told his household, put away these idols. Abraham was told, your seed will go into captivity. Now here in Ezekiel, the prophet is talking about the history of our people when we were in captivity. And this always can be related to our existence here in the land of Babylon, because the very same thing. So while we're being afflicted and the Most High God is preparing himself to deliver his people out, they were still in wickedness. This is a point I brought out a few times before. Many of us, because we've been duped by watching the Ten Commandments movie, right, with Charlton Heston, or whether we watch the Prince of Egypt movie animated film, or VeggieTales adaptation of the Exodus story, whatever it is, Rugrats episode of the Passover, whatever depiction we get of the Exodus story, our understanding is that when the Israelites left, they were a righteous and upright people. That's not what the prophet is saying here in chapter 20, right? But verse 7 rather. Then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes, and defile not yourself with the idols of Egypt. I am Yahweh your God. Read verse 8, if you don't mind.
Verse 8, but they rebelled against me, and would not hearken unto me. They did not every man cast away the abominations of their eyes. neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt. Then said I will pour out my fury upon them.
Salakia, when he says, then I said, I will pour out my fear upon them. Who's doing the pouring?
Yahweh.
And who's the them?
Israel.
So God is going to punish Israel. Read on.
To accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt.
In the midst of where?
The land of Egypt.
In the midst of where?
The land of Egypt.
So God said he's going to pour out his anger on the children of Israel while they were still in the land of Egypt. So before the deliverance and the Exodus story began, the people were sinful and worshiping idols in the land of Egypt. That is a huge misnomer. Many of our people believe that the ancient Israelites were an upright people. No, they were not. A good majority of them were lawless and were following Egyptian customs. Right? Jonathan, grab me Yasher chapter 71, verses 12 through 15. Yasher chapter 71, verses 12 through 15. Now, the book of Yasher, right, which is talked about, I believe, in the book of 2 Samuel, is going to show the account of what the prophet Ezekiel is talking about here in chapter 20. Because verse 7 here in chapter 20 of Ezekiel said, then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes. So how did the Most High God speak to his people in Egypt? He did it by way of a prophet. That's the way he always does it. By way of a prophet. This is the prophet that spoke to them. Go ahead and read 12 through 15.
Yasher chapter 71, verse 12. And Aaron his brother alone remained in the land of Egypt, and he prophesied to the children of Israel, saying,
Salakia, so we recognize that it was Aaron, Moses' brother, that was tasked with the responsibility of reproving and rebuking the 12 tribes of Israel in the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt. In the land of captivity, if you be spiritual. What are them brothers doing out there on the corners?
Preaching.
They're preaching and reproving the people in the land of their captivity, as Aaron did in the land of their captivity many millennium ago. Read on.
Verse 13. Thus saying Yahweh, God of your ancestors, throw away each man the abominations of his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Egypt. And the children of Israel rebelled and would not hearken to Aaron at that time.
Salaki, hold it right there. So I did this lesson a while back, a few years ago, going into what the abomination of the eyes were. And I broke it down as being hating your brother. So the great charge of iniquity upon the children of Israel was, firstly, their idolatry. They weren't serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They were serving the Egyptian gods of the pantheon, right? Horus and Osiris and Ra and all the rest of them gods, right? So that was their first penalty, not penalty, but their first iniquity. The other was them not loving their brother, the abomination of their eyes. We see evidence of that in the book of Exodus, right? When Moses came out there and he saw two Hebrews striving against one another. What does that mean? They was fighting. How are you in the land of your captivity getting beat by Egyptian taskmasters, but you can find time to go fight your brother in the hot sun? If that ain't a nigga, I don't know what is. How you getting beat by Egyptians all day long, but you can find the time to beat on your brother? And the scripture go into to explaining that he stole from his brother. He did evil unto his brother, and they was fighting. So Aaron was talking to them and saying, put away the idolatry and love one another. Keep the commandments, the abomination of thine eye. That's the same thing the brothers are doing out in the corners. Because our people are wrapped up in the God of wood and the God of stone. Christianity, Islam, and everything else mingled in between. And what's the abomination of our eyes? Gang violence, killing one another, robbing one another, hating one another. These are the things we must overcome if we want deliverance. The same thing Aaron did. Again, the topic is the curses are still at work, even if you're rich. Don't change nothing. Finish that up.
Verse 15. And Yahweh thought to destroy them Were it not that Yahweh remembered the covenant which he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Salaki right there. So the Most High God was prepared to destroy the Israelites in Egypt. Let that marinate for a minute. Now, the Exodus story is the greatest story to ever been told. But it almost would have never happened if the Most High didn't extend mercy to our great ancestor, because he was fed up and ready to destroy us, but he remembered the covenant he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And for that reason and that reason alone, we got the deliverance. Because if it was based on our merit, we would have died right there in Egypt.
The same thing here.
We would have died right there in Egypt. Finish it out.
Verse 16. In those days the hand
It's
of
only
Pharaoh.
15. It's only 15. All right, from there, keep grabbing the book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 6. Again, the curses are still at work, even if you're rich. Jonathan, grab me Malachi 3.
Haggai chapter 1 verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but ye have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
Okay, so the prophet is saying, you thought that these riches were going to be an immunity to you. But look at all this stuff that's befalling you, even with all that precious money you got, all the riches you amassed, and you still have these situations affecting you. You got taxes, you got, the police on you, you got all this stuff, you got all this money, and it's still affecting you. Why? Because these curses are upon you. You forsook God. And so he said he was going to punish you for that. But what did it say in Deuteronomy 29, right? But there shall be not one that walk in the imagination of his heart and say, I shall be at peace, and add drunkenness to his thirst. That's the mentality of our people. I'm good. I ain't got to think about that. I ain't got to worry about that. But the prophet is saying, look, you still got to deal with the consequences of this. Read it again.
Me?
Yes.
Haggai 1 and 6. You have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
So he specifically deals with the money. So you earn wages, you getting riches, but you put into a bag with holes, right? So me and you were just reading the account in 2 Kings about the Shulamite women who invited the prophet into her home, the prophet Elijah, right? And when she obeyed the voice of the man of God, the Most High caused the very little supply of meal and of oil to be sustained, right? So let's juxtapose these two scenarios. You got one woman, right? Her finances are small, but the Most High God blesses it and extends it and causes it to, spread out. But you have others who disregard God, have a lot of riches, but they fall into holes. They put because it's, what do we call getting a lot of money? I got the bag. What did it say? You earn wages, earning them, put it into a bag with holes. Yeah, you got the bag, but your bag got holes in it, bruh. It got holes in it. And that's from God to curse you because you have forsaken him. You put your trust in the money and not in the one who provided the money.
Deuteronomy 8 and 18. But ye shall remember Yahweh your God, for it is he that gives you power to get wealth.
Say that again.
For it is he that gives you power to get wealth.
It is he, the Most High God, that giveth you power to get wealth. You putting trust in the bag, you need to be putting trust in the Most High God who's able to give you the bag.
Hallelujah.
It's him. You got to remember him. Start from the top.
But ye shall remember Yahweh your God, for it is he that gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he swore unto his fathers, as it is this day.
So what you have to understand is him giving you the wealth by you obeying him actually not only makes you look good, but he wants you to do it because it makes him look good. It makes the Most High God look good. He says, so that I can establish the covenant, so that I can show to the generations, this is what happens to you when you obey me. I'm going to give you the bag, honey. Okay, if you obey me, you're going to get everything your heart can wish for. It makes me look good. But when you disregard me and I have to punish you, then I don't look as good as I'm supposed to look. Obey me. Remember to keep my commandments. I'm the one who has the power to give you wealth. You trusting in the bag, and the bag got holes. So by the time you get home, all you got is a few dollars. And the fool has come, the fool come behind and pick up all that money. You don't know from which it came or where it's going. You don't know. Okay? Grab me Malachi chapter 3, verse 9 and 14 and 15. We almost finished. Baruch 1.
The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 9. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation.
Okay, and then 14 and 15.
Verse 14. Ye have said, it is vain to serve Yahweh.
So, Salakia, the Most High is saying that you have robbed me. You have robbed me. And now you're cursed with a curse for robbing me. We just read in Deuteronomy 8, remember Yahweh thy God. It is he that giveth the power to get wealth. But you have forsaken me. So now you get a curse. If you would have followed me, you would have got a blessing. But now you get a curse. But now you say it's vain to serve God. What's the point? I don't see the point in doing it. Read on.
And what profit is it that we have guarded his laws, and that we have walked mournfully before Yahweh, Lord of hosts?
Read on.
And you said this.
14 and 15.
Verse 15. And now we call the proud happy. Yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt Yahweh are even delivered.
Okay, so we need to pay close attention to what was just said. This is for anybody who's on the fence right now, who's following after the imagination of their own heart, and are being a little shaky in the keeping of God's commandments, right? Because they're asking the same question. What's the point? I'm keeping the Sabbath. I'm wearing my fringes. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm trying to follow the Bible. But I'm still poor and I still ain't got the things that I desire, right? Verse 15, what does it say again?
And now we call the proud happy. Yea.
Who's the proud? Who's the proud? The nigga out there doing evil and making money. We call him happy. He's proud. He curseth God. He resents God. Snoop Dogg, all the rest of them, Lil Baby. He got the bag. We call him happy. He gotta be living it up. He gotta be living the life I should be living. What's the point in keeping these commandments? I'm broke. This nigga out here selling drugs and doing all manner of evil, and he got money. Maybe I should go on his side, shouldn't I? Read.
Yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt Yahweh are even delivered.
Okay, so that's their mentality. Man, they set up, they're delivered, meaning all of these blessings, quote, air quotations I have, all of these blessings have fallen upon the evil man out there. Right? But I'm still broke reading the Bible. What's the point? What's the point? Baruch, chapter 1, verses 19 and 20. The prophet of God going to show you what the point is. Because you're walking in the imagination of your heart, so you don't understand. When we read Deuteronomy 8, he says, remember Yahweh thy God. He is the one to give you wealth. And so if you do these things, I will establish my covenant. There's a promise of blessings if you be steadfast and remember these things. Don't lose heart, bruh. Don't follow after Lil Baby. That brother is lost. And like I mentioned in the beginning, we don't know what type of stuff some of these people have done to get that record deal and to amass this wealth. And I'll say another thing. I remember, I don't know what song, I think he was it's one of these songs with Drake a little while back, where he says, what's one line, the line he said, that I'm not the GOAT, but I fit the description. Lil Baby, I'm not the GOAT, but I fit the description. So right now, Lil Baby, he's like up there. He's like one of the best rappers. But let's be real. Is he really legit the best rapper in the game right now? No, he's not. But what does he do? He fits the agenda. He's one of the selected ones, the chosen ones of the power that be, the Ashkenazim, that have selected him. Remember, Jonathan, you showed me the video about him. Was it Meek Mill hopping up and down like a bunny and him holding the plate and all types of stuff like that? You're chosen. It's not that you're so uber talented, not like you're handsome. Little baby is not handsome, okay? But he got some talent and he was used and he's placed there for a reason. And we don't know what type of stuff he had to do to get that. And we want it with all our heart. We what you got. This is the point.
Baruch chapter 1, verses 19 and 20. Since the day that Yahweh brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt unto this present day, we have been disobedient unto Yahweh our King. And we have been negligent in not hearing his voice. Verse 20. Wherefore the evils cleaved unto us, and the curse which Yahweh appointed by Moses his servant at the time that he brought our fathers out of the land of Egypt, to give us a land that floweth with milk and honey, like as it is to this day, to see this day.
Okay, so all these things have happened to us, right? And it's by way of our forsaking God and following the customs of the heathen, doing all this other stuff he did not commission us to do. But we still get blinded and still want this. It's like we in this predicament. We get the curses. We not seeking the right path to get out the curses. We just digging a bigger hole. We in there. We in a pit digging a bigger hole. Talking, I'm trying to get out of here, bro. Huh? You outside, bro? You want a ladder to get out? Nah, I'm gonna keep digging. I'm gonna get up out of here though. That's the logic of our people. You're in a big hole and you want a shovel to dig a bigger hole as opposed to a ladder to get out? The prophets of God have provided the ladder to get out of the hole that you're in. But you said, get me a shovel. That's the tool I think that's more effective. And when you think about it, be spiritual. Just use your imagination. If you're in a big hole and you got a shovel and you start digging, right? You throw the dirt over your shoulder, right? After a while, what it do? Slide back down and start filling that area up, right? And you digging, and you keep digging enough, you might bury yourself alive.
Yeah.
You might bury yourself alive. Okay? Because eventually you're going to get so far deep down in that hole, you can't throw it up onto the surface no more. The surface level, the ground level is too far for you to throw the dirt. So you're just going to have to throw it where you can. And now you're in a huge rut that you can't get yourself out of. Yeah. Last scripture. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28. You're going to read verse 20, 45 again, and then 65. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 20, 45, and 65.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 20. Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
So we read in Malachi 3, you got the righteous man, or the one that's striving to keep the commandments, saying, what's the point? Because I see the wicked man over there, he doing evil, and he's still getting blessed. He's delivered, he's set up. It's like he got everything he want. I don't. What's the point? Keep reading.
What was the next verse?
45, and then 65.
45. Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy King, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee.
Okay, 65.
In verse 65.
So again, when it talks about these curses, it said that they should, the way I imagined it was like a police car, right? If you commit a crime, you get in the getaway car and you driving down the expressway and the cops are on you, you can't outrun them. They gonna call for backup. They gonna put up the barricades. They also put up the what's the little things? They're like the little roadblock things with the spikes, right? So you ride over it, pop your tires. Now you rolling down the street with busted tires, trying to outrun the police. You can't, bruh. This ain't Grand Theft Auto, okay? It ain't somewhere you can go and get the little police icons taken all the way down. And when the Grand Theft Auto, like number 3 or Vice City, the police cars be jumping off the buildings coming to come and find you. This ain't Grand Theft Auto, bruh. You can't outmaneuver the curses. They're gonna find you and overtake thee until thou be destroyed. In Grand Theft Auto, when you hop out and try to run, then police can start shooting you till you lay down and the blood filled the screen. What's it say, busted or whatever? Game over. It's over. This ain't Grand Theft Auto. This real life. And you must keep the commandments of God. Ain't no cheat code to evade the Spirit of God. He gonna come find you. Read on.
Verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
He said, in these nations, meaning America, you shall have no ease. So why are you trusting in these things? But you're blinded. Our people are ignorant. That's why it was needful for the prophet Aaron, as Yashar talked about, to go and reprove the people. Teach them. Because we don't have no sense. We have no sense. A lot of the stuff that we do now is simply because we are ignorant as a people. We do not know the laws of God. We are not acquainted with the things that please the Most High God, the creator of heaven and earth. We do not know. Our women will be dykes, thinking that stuff is normal. Why? Because the oppressor told you that's okay. And then when you have someone talk to you and say that it's not and show you in the Bible, then something in your heart get pricked. The Christian church ain't doing that. I just told you. Article of some talk. Donnie McClurkin, renowned pastor, right? Wonderful Christian singer, right? We all familiar with his hits, right? What's the for a saint is just a sinner. We all know the songs, right? But what is he talking about? That he, as a Christian pastor and renowned leader in the Christian community, is still struggling with homosexual thoughts and urges to be with men. Why is that? Because you live in a bubble of lawlessness. The Christianity don't teach you nothing. So because you walk in the imagination of your own heart, the curses are coming and affecting you too. But you can stand up there and shout and do all this stuff and speak in some unknown tongue, but you're still thinking about men. This is the reality. Okay? Did you read all of 65?
Yeah.
One more time. And then from there, I want you to jump to verse 8 in that chapter.
Deuteronomy 28 and 65 again. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
So when you get pulled over by the police, right? That feeling that a black man get when he see them sirens, right? He don't know if he gonna come home. That's the spirit of the curses. That's the spirit of the curses. Okay, I want you to jump up to verse 8 and read to 10, and then we'll be finished.
Okay. Yahweh shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses.
So this is talking about the blessings of God. So if you turn away from your ungodliness, remember him, remember the one who was able to give thee wealth, and do what he asked you to do. This is what he's prepared to give you. So in Malachi 3, they said, what's the point? He over there getting blessed. Why should I continue to do this? This is what the Most High is prepared to give his people if you obey and be steadfast. Read.
Deuteronomy 28, verses 8 through 10. Yahweh shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto.
So whatever you put your hand to is going to be blessed if you obey God, right? So you go to do this venture, it's going to be blessed. You go to do that venture, it's going to be blessed. But if you find that when you're doing something, it's not blessed, then what is that an indication of? You're not keeping God's commandments. So if you set your hand to start a business, you set your hand to do this endeavor or that endeavor, and it fails every time, that's a good indication that you're not keeping his commandments, because the curse was that these curses will pursue thee and overtake thee until thou be destroyed. Haggai says you put wages into a bag with holes, so they fall out from the bottom. You got to consider your ways. Examine yourself. Read on.
And in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which Yahweh thy king giveth thee. Verse 9, Yahweh shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy king and walk in his ways. Verse 10, and all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of thee.
So the nation's going to be afraid of thee.
Afraid.
Okay? So we got to remember that the curses are still at work, even if you're rich. This is Brother Nakota signing off, wishing the nation of Israel peace and blessings. Until next time, I'll say shalom. This book of the covenant, established by the Most High God, may not in any wise be embellished, omitted, redacted, redefined, or plagiarized. Authority to declare these contents must be expressly granted by divine consent of the Most High God.